Okay, Venerable Brother, Dhamma friends, we are going to start the question and answer session. So as usual, Chandrika is ready with written reports and the questions. So we will start the session with the written reports.
Avasara Bhante, we have received 6 reports today. Report number 1, Theruvan Saranai. I am a novice to meditation, sitting meditation. I have been practicing Maitri Bhavana mostly. During Anapanasati Bhavana, I noticed that my breath, inhale, exhale, and the gap in between was very short, and it was difficult to observe a complete cycle. How do I know that I am not controlling my breathing?
One moment. Actually, you may feel it. Basically, you may understand that you are putting too much effort and you might feel a little tired. Even certain complications also can happen. Say you feel like turning your head or kind of swirling type of thing. So those kinds of things happen only when you are trying to control or force breathe. But otherwise, if things are happening smoothly, you allow things to happen in a more natural way, and you like simply witnessing the whole process, that means things are happening smoothly. You don't need to worry anything that whether you are controlling or not, that you don't need to worry like that. Rather, things are happening in a more appropriate way. So typically, you may understand what is the kind of balance that you need to maintain. So if we are not putting enough effort, then that means we are very much not paying enough attention, or if necessary we are not what we call as not noting, then the mind wanders or might fall asleep because you are not putting enough attention. On the other hand, if you are putting too much attention or if you are putting too much effort, then again mind can wander because of too much excess effort that you are putting. And on the other hand, if you are putting too much effort, then samadhi won't grow. That's the other area. So it's a kind of a practical situation there. What we need to say at the beginning, you need fair amount of effort so that you are trying to tame the mind. And once it is fairly tamed, now you need to release the effort. You need to reduce the effort, balance the effort, allowing or paving the way for the concentration to develop. If you are not doing that adjustments, the concentration may not grow because you are too hard. You are holding it. You are too forcefully holding it. You are not releasing your hand. So likewise, on the way, you need to do these little adjustments. Otherwise, it may not grow. So you can check whether you are very much like from the beginning to the end. If you are putting too much effort, you are maintaining the same amount of effort. Or as you are growing, you recognize how mind is now come to a certain level of tamed state, relaxed state, say concentrated state, and then to further grow, that you are further reducing the effort, but maintaining a little bit of a monitoring process, little bit of attention, so that mind further become more subtle, soft, relaxed, and further concentrated. So that you need to feel that. Time to time you need to step back and see how things are going on. And after some time again you practice, again you need to step back and see how now things are going on, how the status of the mind. So kind of a time to time you do a kind of a introspection and see how things are happening, if things are going smoothly. So that way only you can really realize whether you are putting too much effort or you are putting only the necessary amount of effort.
Walking meditation. While walking, I felt the sandstones, warm spots, cold spots, even movement of my leg muscles. I felt my shoulder is heavy, adjusted my hand posture and started walking again. Should I deal with any discomfort or detach myself from the pain? Please advise on how to further my practice. Theruvan Saranai.
You don't need to detach. If you can be with those pains, if you can simply accept those pains, and if you don't have any kind of a restriction to that, rather kind of a receptive attitude. So you're ready to accept everything. Things are happening right now, but you are fully aware of the whole thing. I mean, these pains may not be, kind of severe pains. You can simply bear it. So we are learning these little pains. So let's welcome that. So because you understand pain mean you are fully with that. You are in the present moment. Mindfulness is well established, because then only you can understand, okay, currently there are little pains available and you are fully aware of that. And that indicates your mind is well established in the present moment. And not in the past, not in the future. You are not distracted. Rather, you are fully aware what's really going on right now. Currently there is a pain. You are fully aware of that. That is good. So we have to look at from that point of view. We need to change our attitude rather than looking at pain as a kind of a hindrance or kind of a barrier for our growth. Rather, we can welcome that, okay, if I am able to look at pain from this point of view, okay, that means, okay, I am in the present moment, fully in the present moment. And on the other hand, this report starts with that you are familiar with metta meditation, isn't it? So now here, try to give more attention on to, say, the Kayanupassana. So how your body situated like, how even if possible these pains, the feelings appears. So there you are coming back to yourself. So you are developing certain amount of introspection. You are in a way developing what we call as the kind of body awareness. So that is necessary. So on the other hand, say metta, true, it's also good meditation, but here metta basically is somewhat conditioning the mind and say a type of samatha practice, and vitakka is involved, thinking is a little bit involved. And more than that, here what we are trying to do is a little different one. How we establish mindfulness within the body and what are the bodily processes available, how you are being aware of in the present moment, what's happening right now. So that will take you to more into a deeper Vipassana level. So that is what we are trying to do.
If this yogi needs to discuss anything further, please raise your hand.
Correct, yes.
I'll go on to report number 2. Report number 2, sitting meditation. Started by noticing sensations from toes to head. Couldn't focus on breath during breath meditation as thoughts are forming. Breathing felt forced.
Mm-hmm.
Then there is a walking meditation also.
Okay. Somewhat similar. Forced breathing, it can happen. So it is your duty to see whether you are doing forced breathing, you are trying to control, or you are in the back seat and allow things to happen and you still observe. So this is a kind of a balance that we need to learn. That's very essential to learn. I can simply tell you, but so you need to do it practically. That's why I can simply indicate, okay, now you are starting at the beginning, it appear like you are forced breathing. Now time to time you see whether I am doing kind of a forced breathing, I am putting unnecessary effort, because your body knows how to breathe. So far you are breathing. Even at night, body breathes. You don't need to interfere. So why I am trying to intentionally breathe? Not necessary. So in Anapanasati, we simply allow the body to go ahead with its natural breathing, and I am just a kind of a observer, witnessing the whole process. That's all. I am not interfering. I am not even distracted. By the way, don't think that way. So it's, if we not paying attention, then I will be completely distracted. That is also not the correct thing. I am still with that, but maintaining kind of a distance. So I am fully observing the breathing, but not interrupting. Again, not distracted. So that is the beautiful balance that we are talking here. So this training is utterly important, not even at this level. Even at the, in a higher Vipassana level. So if you can remember that how Buddha defines the first noble truth. Ayan dukkhang ariya samudaya, ayan dukkhang ariya satchang. So what does it mean? There is the noble truth of suffering. There is. So you are taking a kind of a perspective, okay, there is suffering. There is suffering. It is not I am suffering, rather there is suffering. There is in breath. There is out breath. There is in breath. There is out breath. So when we come to that practically allowing or training the mind to look at in that manner, objectively look at whatever phenomena, whatever experience in that manner, so we are aligned with that Buddha statement, talked at the very higher level of the Noble Eightfold Path or the Four Noble Truths. That's why in Kayanupassana we are learning how to deal with this First Noble Truth in one sense. So this whole phenomena, whole aggregates is nothing but the First Noble Truth. I think you know that. What is the Dukkhang Ariya Satchang? That is these 5 clinging aggregates. As we discussed yesterday, so there are 5 clinging aggregates, Rupa Vedana Sanya Sankhara Vijnana. So Dukkha Ariya Satcha is nothing but these 5 clinging aggregates. Panchupadana Khandatissa Vachaniyang. So that is how Buddha says about the First Noble Truth. So more we investigate Rupa, more we investigate feelings, Vedana, more we investigate perceptions, Sanya, more we investigate formation, Sankhara, more we investigate consciousness, Vijnana. That means we are dealing with the First Noble Truth. Interesting point is when you are dealing with that, like we are investigating that, thoroughly trying to understand that, naturally Second Noble Truth starts abandoning. What is the Second Noble Truth? Craving. So craving starts slowly fading away, reducing, abandoning. And time to time now you come and rest on the Third Noble Truth. And the whole path, what we are doing, comes under the Noble Eightfold Path. So therefore it's a very beautifully, integrated everything. So when we are looking at the body, various bodily phenomena, bodily processes, feelings, thoughts, everything, that comes under the 5 clinging aggregates, so the First Noble Truth. So therefore we have a very nice connection between the higher teachings of the Buddha, deep teachings of the Buddha, and how we are trying to practically align with that teaching from the beginning. So when we are practicing Anapanasati, when we are practicing say elements meditation or feelings or Vedana, so all there we are trying to maintain that proper perspective, proper attitude. There is feeling, there is painful feeling, there is happy feeling, there is equanimous feeling. So we are putting that objective perspective.
Walking meditation. Could focus better than in sitting meditation. Counted from 1 to 10. Focus was okay, but I got bored in every few minutes. Thoughts formed without me noticing.
Yeah, getting bored is a result. So you need to recognize that typically our minds are agitated as a result of too much thinking or sensual gratification. But here we are minimizing that. So obviously you may feel bored. So you need to welcome boredom now. It's a result of the meditation. So welcome to the boredom. Not the boarding, or rather boredom. So we are giving not a boarding pass here, but a boredom pass. So welcome to the boredom. So just because we need to understand, okay, now I am not agitating the mind. So your mind is relaxing. The peace is fairly bored, isn't it? The peace is very boring. But fight, war, very exciting, isn't it? So if there are people quarreling and shouting, killing, all sorts of things that we say are enjoyable are not peaceful. What is peaceful? Very boring. So I am falling asleep. So even now falling asleep because this discussion is very boring. So if we play some music and some dance and everything, then everybody join and they clap and dance and not boring. So anyway, so we need to understand, so where we are going ahead. So the peace, that calmness, tranquility is somewhat boring, but there we are sort of refining our attention in a way. We are being more sensitive. How even there are no excitement, how even there are no agitation, how we can be fully aware, how we can be fully awake without any kind of an activity. It's very difficult actually. So that's why we need some kind of an activity every time. I want to do something. So that's why we are geared to do something. I want to do something, I will change it. How my wife put it is not good, I want to change it. How my husband has kept it is not good, I want to change it. So we are geared to do, we need to change. We need to, go for a revolution. But the current system, not good. We need a system change. Current system is very boring. Okay, we'll go to the next one before getting it bored.
Report number 3, Most Venerable Bhante. I started sitting meditation by watching the body. I identified tightness of the body. After some time, I felt only the tightness and it was like a one unit. Then thoughts appeared as a picture. I have seen mind's dislike for some of the thoughts. Then I was aware about the dislikes. Then it went away. I experienced the time without thoughts. In that moment, there was a huge freedom of the mind. I have seen I used to put some effort to keep the mind some time in that status. Body has given some effort for that. Then I felt body pain. But I identified mind doesn't want to see the pain and watch the mind. I realized that I can keep my mind for watching mind even I have a pain in the body. Without watching the pain, I watch the mind. I understood how careless appearing in the mind and how it is giving us suffering. Thero and Saranai.
Good. That's what we need. So basically the pain we can't completely get rid of. So it's a characteristics of the body. But at the same time we can look at the mind. So mind may be empty. No stress. So you are simply enjoying, you are resting in that emptiness. So mind is completely free from any thought even. No stress. But body is going through a little bit of pain. Unavoidable. Say if you need, you can change the posture or you can see a doctor. That's a different story. But still you can watch the mind. You have that alternative. And that's very interesting. So it's welcome to this area. So basically in Chittanupassana, that's what we are trying to do. Even while walking, while body is walking, you can look at the mind. Even while the body is sitting, you can look at the mind. Even while body going through a certain amount of bodily pain, still you can look at the mind. So that option is always available and very interesting. And as you said, how when sort of bodily pains are there, how mind is reacting to that. Are there desires? Are there hateful thoughts? So that also you can look at. So very much like you have come to the center. So various interactions happen between the sense organs, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body. But you are at the center, irrespective of eye interactions, ear interactions, nose interaction, tongue interaction, body interactions. So you can simply watch the mind. Very interesting. And so just continue your effort. So basically if you, time to time, if you experience that absence of thoughts, just try to rest there. Because still may be a little bit of pains and other feelings available. Still may be shades of perceptions available in your mind. So you are not in the, some sort of pure kind of emptiness. So I can't say we can get a pure 100% emptiness. That is also not possible. Always what we are experiencing is kind of a relative emptiness. But that emptiness is more and more purifying. More and more you are, purifying yourself. Your mind starts blooming or your mind become more and more purified as you dwell in that. One very interesting area is that you arrive at a state where there are no thoughts. And in that thoughtless state, you are simply be aware. That's it. Simply be aware. Just be. Just enjoy. Very interesting area. Yeah. If this yogi wants to join the discussion, you are welcome. Or else we are. Yeah. Is it yours? Parking the mind. Yeah, we can say so, and we can say, I used to say as homing. We very much like we arrive kind of a home position of the mind or the canvas. So now the artwork was deleted, artwork was erased, and we are now in the resting at the canvas. So we have arrived the canvas, simply resting in the canvas. No artwork, something like that. Yeah, is yours?
Yes.
Okay. So no question. You can proceed, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Report number 4. Dear Bhante, I kindly request you to further explain the following statement quoted from the book Direct Path to Realization, page 80. According to a discourse in the Itiuttaka, the hindrances can also be removed and the mind become concentrated even during walking meditation with metta.
So, yes. Possible? Correct. So, while walking, I mean, of course, you can remove defilements, you can see defilements. Actually, very well explained by the Buddha in certain suttas. He says, Chankame nisinnehi upakkilesehi chittang parisodehi. Now, Buddha divides our timetable, the day's work into several periods. So Buddha says in the morning, okay, chankamehi nisinnehi avaraniyehi dhammehi chittam parisodeti. That means while walking, while sitting, you purify your mind from these hindrances. And then in the evening, chankamehi nisinnehi avaraniyehi dhammehi chittam parisodeti. Buddha mentioned, okay, while sitting, while walking, so you purify your mind from the hindrances. And that night, before you come to the sleep, okay, that night, chankamehi nisinnehi avaraniyehi dhammehi chittam parisodeti. While sitting, while walking, you do the purification of the mind. And only at the late night, so that time period where you sleep, Buddha mentioned, okay, you are mindfully sleeping. Something like that, you are in a, well, sleeping. But rest of the time, true, either in the chankame, either in the sitting, chankame means the walking, avaraniyehi dhammehi chittam parisodeti. So that means you are fully aware of the mind, what is going on in the mind. So walking is an excellent area for that. Because sometimes what happens is, while sitting, it's very much like a controlled, little artificial as we are moving forward. At the beginning it is a must, because it's necessary to, calm down the mind, to relax the mind, to tame the mind. So sitting is a must in a way. But later you might find, okay, now I can do it more relaxed manner while at walking, especially when we are doing the Chittanupassana. So, because for Chittanupassana you don't need any particular posture. You can do Chittanupassana at any posture. So walking is a very freed environment for that. Even while looking around, you can still watch your mind. So eyes are looking around, but how about the mind? So those are very interesting areas or experiments you can do while walking. So how others are interacting and how your mind reacts. So likewise, how various things you can see, how your mind reacts. Various sounds you can hear, how your mind reacts. So all possibilities are there to explore yourself during the walking. And you may come to the end of the walking and assume that your mind still remains calm, still. So you are simply resting at the end of the walking path. And very interesting. Excellent areas there to self-exploration in walking meditation. Yeah.
Report number 5. Dear Bhante, This comes from a few practicing yogis. Yesterday during Q&A, you happened to mention that the tranquility during samatha and vipassana insights helps us to develop the path by trusting, generating saddha towards Lord Buddha's teachings. In your own words, you mentioned eye-opening kind of insights through vipassana. Our question is about vipassana insights. We would like to know whether the vipassana insights are experienced, realized, while during sitting sessions or after coming out of the sitting session. During day-to-day, most of the times we are mindful about the defilements such as anger, lust, greed, etc., which we feel that those cannot be called as vipassana insights. But at times we realize that there is nothing called me and mine, and it's the present moment, no past or future. However, all these are not realized during sitting meditation. Appreciate very much for your sharing of experiences so that we can fully understand the meaning of vipassana insights. Much merit to you, Bhante, for your guidance as always.
Yeah, I think some answer is already there. So it is not merely in the sitting that you experience vipassana knowledges, insights, but every other time also. So the whole life become kind of a rich field for you to have more understanding. Now, say for example, I'll just take some examples from the disciples, great disciples of the Buddha. Now, one occasion, Patachara. So she became a nun, and she was coming after the, meals. Now she wants to enter her kuti, and she washed her feet. And some water just went a little distance. She assumed that she put a little amount of water from a cup. Now even here we are washing the, say, feet. She put some water and it reached some distance. And she put another cup, it reached another distance. And she put another cup, it reached another distance. How she interpreted that? Some people die in early childhood. Some people die when they are young. Some people die on their old age. So that is how she looked at it. And so that's a realization. So therefore we can't say that the typical mundane activities are not causing any kinds of insights. So if we are in that level of, or if our eyes are fairly aligned with that vipassana way of looking at things, so even these slight things can generate kind of insight. And another thing, one venerable called Nagasamala, I think. That's the venerable. So Nagasamala, so he was not an arahant. So he was going on alms round. While he was going on alms round, there is one young actress, making a dance. And many people are gathered and clapping and, they are enjoying. So this monk is going on alms round and he was wondering what's really going on there. And now only he looked at and he saw this young actress is now performing something and everybody was so, indulged in it, enjoying it. So rather than he, overwhelmed by lust, he understood the danger in that. He understood, oh my goodness, what a kind of a thing going on here. How many people are fully deluded there? How much they are fully involved, indulged there, so that how much they are more and more continuing in the samsara. So he looked at from that angle and he attained. So therefore, even now, typically we say, okay, don't look at it, then you may lose your sense restraint. That is also there. But another monk, it can be a kind of a really disastrous sight. It can even arouse lust. That is also possible. But this monk, so he was really, kind of well matured, and his vipassana, he may be practicing, and he is with that way of looking at things. So for him, it becomes his insight field. So likewise, and even there's a very popular Sri Lankan story that one young lady, she had a quarrel with her husband, and she want to go to her parents' house. It's very common thing, no? Had a quarrel with the husband, now she want to abandon husband, and now she's taking everything early morning, and she's running to her parents' house. Now Venerable Tissa coming on Pindapata. Can you remember the story? Coming on Pindapata, and when she met Venerable Tissa, so she laughed. So Venerable Tissa saw what? He saw the skeleton. Through the teeth, he penetrated and saw the skeleton. Now she went away. Now husband is following her. And he also coming in the same path. And now this monk is coming. And he is inquiring from the monk, Bhante, have you seen a young woman going in the same path? So monk is answering, I haven't seen a woman, but I saw a skeleton. So different way of looking at things. So therefore we can't say that every time we have to be here sitting, full seriously meditating, then only the insights are possible. That is also possible. I am not saying no, that's also possible. But mostly when your mind is well relaxed and especially your mind is quiet, no inner chatter particularly, then mind has a fair chance of seeing things differently. Because that clear mind, calm mind, relaxed mind, more equanimous mind, thought-free mind is a very rich ground for insights to happen. Not that we think too much, and thinking also can take you to some extent kind of what you call as the chintame panya, reflective knowledges. But the insights are more through the observation while your mind is very relaxed, calm and quiet. Then immediately insights can happen. So all possibilities are there. So therefore, the thing is that you are continuously practicing, you are going on in your journey, but other occasions are also possible for us to have insights.
Report number 6, Venerable Bhante. I like to know more about the initial rugged journey that Bhante walked, especially the Vipassana path. Personally, I feel that path of Vipassana is rugged. The only solace is the joy of seeing the ignorance and true nature of substances. Thero Nissarana.
I told?
Storytelling,
yes. So actually, for myself, I would like to say, I didn't come across the Satipatthana, full emphasized Satipatthana path in my early monkhood. So I was trying on many different other things taught in other areas. So what I come across is Samatha Pubbangama Vipassana. So the first I had to go through strenuous amount of Samatha practice. And then only so-called Vipassana. That so-called Vipassana is also not the very natural kind of Vipassana, Satipatthana based Vipassana, very much Visuddhimagga based Vipassana. So their mind is fairly conditioned, fairly complicated, going on a really descriptive path. Descriptive also not the proper term. I don't like to look down that, but now I feel it's a waste of time. But I have wasted time. So for 6 years, went through severe, kind of strenuous practice. After 6 years, I found reached nothing, nowhere. A complete kind of a collapse happened in me. Now I want to look at what are the other alternatives available. I felt that I couldn't proceed in that path. It's not going to. The instructions received or directions given, not taking me to the expected results, the peace of the mind. Rather, come up with a kind of a dilemma in the mind. So then I want to look at other alternatives. Some indications actually I came across while I am meditating, but no one was there to appreciate it. And again, other alternatives are also not allowed to practice. You know, when you are in a particular system, you need to adhere to that, you need to strictly follow that. So I have no option. Then I have decided to look at what are the other options available. There I found, okay, Mahasi method is available and Satipatthana is available, but not enough emphasis is given. So then I want to take an alternative path to practice Mahasi method. And there I tried to apply it for Mahasi tradition retreat available in Myanmar. But unfortunately it get rejected because the retreat is full. So Dilhara cut me off. Retreat is still full. So then I have to find an alternative way how to somehow attend the retreat, because I am so determined to attend this retreat. It's an international retreat, 2 months retreat held in Myanmar and conducted by Sayadaw U Pandita. And so once a year, only once a year I am getting it. So I want to, somehow I am determined to do that. And then I recognize, okay, Bhante Dhammajiva going there with few monks every year, taking Nissarana monks. I learned that because I already sent an application, it was rejected. But now I got this news. Then I asked permission to go to Nissarana to meet Bhante Dhammajiva, still no permission. Then still again determined, okay, I should go and find some solution. Then again asked. Again, their teachers, they say, no, you should not go. You have to, this is a complete opposite thing that you are trying to do. So typically they do this method and then they go this to this method. But now you are completely doing it complete wrong way. Don't do it. It's a shame for us. Something like that they mentioned. So anyway, again I am determined. Then I decided, okay, again I went and asked. For several hours I got advice not to do it. But somehow came to Nissarana. And there I went about 2 hours just in the office, not allowing me to come to the upper monastery. Coming all the way from Kurunagala, from Malsiripura, had just breakfast, coming all the way from the bus, came to Nissarana. Bhante Dhammajiva was not there. He has come to Colombo. I am not allowed to go even to a kuti, just hanging on at the Nissarana office. It's a traditional office, Nissarana office. And I just asked some water and got some water. And they asked me to go to the other monastery. Because no kuti available at Nissarana. So I am also not going. So they are also not allowing me to go. Ultimately, that Lena Mahatya found, so this monk is not going to move. He's just sitting on the chair, not going to the other monastery, and they are also not allowing me to come up. Ultimately, they say, okay, I was asking, at least can I meet a monk? I haven't seen a monk, even though I came to the Nissarana. Just hang on there for 2.5 hours or 3 hours, just sitting at the office. And then later they say, okay, now Bhante, you can go up. Then I went there. So kutis are available. So then one monk, he allowed me to stay in a guest kuti. So I was there. So I was in a complete dilemma. So I couldn't sleep. I heard about Bhante Dhammajiva as a very rude monk, very difficult to talk and use harsh words. So I'm coming from a very soft environment, so it is not suitable for me. You can't deal with him. All the bad things I have heard. So I was, with that pressure also there. Again, that retreat has only, I came Nissarana on November 16th. Retreat starts on November 27th. So very limited time. I have to write to them, I have to get the permission, I have to get the visa, I have to book the ticket. Very tight. And then, so somehow I stayed, I couldn't sleep. So these are sleepless nights. So next day morning, so I went to Dhanasalawa and had breakfast, and I asked from one monk, when Bhante Dhammajiva is coming? He's there. He already was in the Dhanasalawa. So then Bhante Dhammajiva was in the kuti number 10, and so I went there. As usual, he was with the computer. So I went there. So he asked, from where did you come? I said, from there I came. I have not taken the names. From there you came. Did you get the permission? Then I said, Bhante, I want to go to Panditarama. Did you get the permission? Yes. So, I mean, his words I can't repeat here. Basically, he says, unbelievable. It can't happen. It can't happen. So basically, then again I wrote an email. So I was now practicing under Bhante Dhammajiva, and now I am practicing there for about 1 week I was there, or a few days I was there. Then as a kind of a student of him, now again I send an email to the same place, Panditarama. Some rigid type of nun was there, called Mavajira. So she's scrutinizing like hell. So again she made an email, okay, still you know that same person, I am the same person, no? Same person, so you are asking from there, I rejected, now you are asking from here. And anyway, she asked more explanation. So somehow she asked, okay, no space. But anyway, since Bhante Dhammaji also recommended, so you can come, but no space. So I went there. Then I immediately got the visa was sent, and then the invitation was sent. Then visa was received. Then immediately the same flight where the Bhante Dhammajiva and the others are flying to Myanmar. So that flight fortunately has the seat. So I got the ticket. So then I went there. As mentioned, no place. So all the others went to the Panditarama what's that called? Shenmyon something, in the forest center. I was kept at Rangoon. Just 1 week, 2 weeks I was there. For me, I need the kind of forest environment. So they are just like in the Colombo 7, in a 4-story building. And I was in the 3rd story somewhere. So what I can see, the vehicles and the buildings, that's all. And I was inquiring about the possibility of going there, no space. Anyway, there's a good sayadaw was there, young monk, he's a sayadaw. So I was reporting to him, I was practicing and reporting to him, and a very strict schedule was there. And again I sort of pleaded, I want to go to the forest center, and he said, now space is available, okay, you go. So I went there and went to the forest center, and there like a complete regimentation, like an army camp. So you can't even look at the Pandita Sayadaw's face when he's preaching. So you are supposed to be like this, very quiet. It's like a very rigid schedule is there. So at 4 a.m., it's a sharp 4 a.m. I have to be in the retreat center, meditating till 9 something. That meditation has to continue. Exactly at 10 or something you have to go for Pindapat, and all that routine is there. And before the Dhamma talk starts, we have to arrive there. Everybody come and well seated. When the Sayadaw arrives, and he preaches Dhamma, and it is translated. So I was writing, by the way. Therefore, I was looking at his face, and I was writing because things are interesting. Complete change happened in me. I mean, I was understood, okay, this walking meditation, the Vipassana practice, particularly the Satipatthana practice, has a thorough emphasis. So that emphasis is given there. So that is something I learned. Basically, what a kind of emphasis is given to Satipatthana. While because that is being not recognized in my previous, my previous practice, Satipatthana was not given enough emphasis. Various other things are there. Many other practices are there. So much of other practices. The Samatha has 40 objects. All 40 practiced. And many higher concentrations, everything practiced. And say Vipassana also, many other methods are there. Unbelievable. If you read Visuddhimagga, so many other methods are there. Everything practiced. But with this Satipatthana, not given enough emphasis. But they are simply asked to practice Satipatthana, that's only. And one interesting, I was in a good, there also I fall sick. Actually, I can remember I got a body rash and severely go through the fever. And that day night, around 1:30, I completely complete fainted on the ground of the toilet. For about 2 minutes, I was unconscious. And then fortunately wake up. And so almost like, if I hit the head on the something, that's the end. And then they started sending me food to the kuti, and someone actually stayed in my kuti for one day just to look after me, and then started slowly recovering. And the food is not good because I was trying to practice vegetarian there, so that's where I made a mistake. So there the vegetarian food is not good. So they simply use just boiled vegetables, so it's not giving enough nutrition. So I fall weak, so can't even walk. So slowly, by the way, it's a group that we went there. So they started giving me some food and, milk powder and all these things. So they actually helped me. So this Rani Manu, there is several others in the same trip. This Dr. Jayaratna, surgeon, so he was in our group, and several monks from Nissarana, Vanaya. So many actually helped me to get up and slowly recovered. And actually I decided to stay there in Myanmar for several years if possible. But I found, basically there are the instructions, apart from the Pandita Sayadaw's instructions, other Sayadaw's instructions I didn't recognize as something, take me to the further levels, but always asking me to practice the very basics. So they couldn't feel the yogi in that sense. So I felt that. So I also decided, okay, let me participate only to the 2 months retreat as scheduled. I'm not going to extend. I'm also coming to return. So I then came back to Nissarana with the other monks. Then decided to stay there without returning back to the previous monastery. So then practiced. And there also I was just minding my own business without doing anything else. Then somehow Hemanta called me to conduct retreats in 2016. There also they asked me to conduct the full retreat. I said no, I just do the Q&A. I can't do the Dhamma sermons. Was about 1 year I was giving instructions but not making Dhamma sermons. Then started giving the Dhamma sermons also. So that's how things have grown up. And after coming back to Nissarana, basically, so Bhante Dhammajeva understood where I am, and he quickly, it didn't take long time to quickly put into the proper track, the Vipassana, the Satipatthana track. And once we are fully understood the student and just given the proper instructions, so we can simply progress. So that progress happened, I found, progress happened not much long, because certain things I already understood but not properly guided. Say for example, when your mind becomes fairly empty, so it's fairly, while keeping your mind empty, so now you can practice Chittanupassana easily. You can look at what are the intruding thoughts, as even now we just discuss. So now we can quickly jump to Chittanupassana. You don't need to stagnate in the other areas. You can simply be here and recognize these thoughts and defilements, and again you abandon them, again you rest in the emptiness. So that emptiness is the path then. So you are more and more dwelling in emptiness, keeping the mind very quiet. So that becomes your path, that becomes your practice. I mean, these things are now actually, since we go through all these, disturbances, problems, wrong paths, wrong practices, and unnecessary things, troubles, and everything. So they are, after going through that, we can recognize, okay, this is the area which is giving more effective results, because all the other things are some additional stuff, but this is the core. So once you recognize the core, then it's a matter of maximizing that core, the core teaching or the core practices. So then slowly after going through the practice as well as conducting retreats, and they actually contributed a lot. And so it's not an easy thing, by the way. So that's about it. Yeah, that's all, no? Those are the questions we have.
Thank you, Bhante. We are so fortunate to get guidance from you, and I think we've done some good karma.
So, yes, you can give.
From the particular book, it says, Buddhakarama Buddha and Alar Kalama, the Buddha was sort of going to them after some time. Buddha was when he was Bodhisattva, he was following Alara Kalama. And then he said that though the concentration is there, the right view is not there.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I can agree with that. Now, the interesting point with Buddha's way of practicing at Chittanupassana level, even the deep concentrations, he asks us to step back and watch. This is not deep immersion to the concentration. In the Chittanupassana, say, Sadosang va chittan, sadosang chittan dipajanati. Likewise, it's going on, and then there's a statement, Samahitang va chittan, samahitan chittan dipajanati. That means when you are concentrated, the mind is concentrated, okay, the mind is concentrated. Asamahitang va chittan, asamahitan chittan dipajanati. When the mind is not concentrated, you still know mind is not concentrated. Then there is something called Sauttaran chittan dipajanati. So that means, so assume that you are in the first jhana, now you are making effort to go to the second jhana. So that means you are not recognizing first jhana as the best, but you recognize second jhana is much better than the first. So even during this transition, Sauttaran chittan dipajanati. So that indicates now you have a kind of a mentality, so this is not the best thing. But there's another shift can make, another improvement can make. So that type of mentality still you can understand. You can step back and watch. And assume now you reach the second jhana and now you want to consolidate that. At that level you consider that this is the best. That is where Buddha mentioned anuttaran chittan dipajanati. Now the way that you looking at it, okay, now I am fully satisfied with it, so this is the best. So that mentality also you can step back and watch. And then Buddha say, Vimuttan chittan dipajanati. Assume that you practice Vipassana and everything was released, your mind become completely, say, temporarily liberated, completely freed. So that also you know. Again Buddha says, Avimuttan chittan dipajanati. Assume that again you go and grasp. Now the freedom is no more, not available. So again it gone and had a kind of a contact, kind of an engagement, attachment. That also you can know. So this sampajana kari hoti, sampajana, the knowing part, is extremely important. So that's the point. Now in the Nigantana, this Alara Kalama Putta, Uddakarama Putta, so their way of practice is where they don't have this view, they don't have this proper knowing, but they are fully absorbed to the jhana. So they are fully dwelling in the jhana, they are lost in the jhana. They are completely locked in the jhana. So So they have no say while they are. So when assume that you generate certain amount of energy to absorb there, and that energy when it is loosened, then you naturally come out of there. So you don't have kind of a command to see, look back, to step back and watch it. So Buddha's teaching, Buddha keep that margin kind of a distance. Even kind of a deeper concentration, you have that possibility. You are not internally stuck. There's a very beautiful sutta called Uddesa Vibhanga Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya. You can read that. So there the question is asked, so what is this internally stuck and what is this internally not stuck? Internally stuck means you are absorbed to a jhana. So the consciousness, as we discussed on yesterday, the consciousness has taken this internal quality of that particular jhana. Now the first jhana has the quality vivekaja piti sukha. So when the defilements are not there, so you are experiencing certain amount of rapture and you are having kind of a happiness. So you are fully dwelling in that, you are fully absorbed to that. So consciousness is fully in that. Internally stuck. And now another state is there. That is there, but you are not internally stuck. Your consciousness is somewhat maintaining kind of a distance. Consciousness hasn't become conditioned by the experience, by this concentrated experience. You are maintaining this knowing quality. So you can see the state of this level of the mind, but your consciousness is maintaining kind of a freedom. So I have the phone, I can read that. So basically, the idea is, so how, even though one is practicing jhana, how you are not internally stuck. You are internally free, you are not stuck. Still practicing jhana, but not internally stuck. So that has been discussed in this Uddesa Vibhanga Sutta very beautifully. So such kind of profound way of looking at things is not there with the Kalalgoda or whatever the typical practitioners, but the Buddha has given that. So the Buddha is the only one come to that level. So the main issue with this deeper concentrations is that easily you can get stuck in it. Easily your mind can get conditioned in it. Easily your mind get trapped in it. You're very much like you are in a trance. You are in a trance. So you hypnotized like things, so you are in a trance. So you can't come out of it. You are in that. Like you are being drugged. Can't hear.
Is the right view connected with the Four Noble Truths?
So the thing is right view. Now right view continuously go through this kind of a freedom. The first level, now here we are talking of the second level of the right view. Right view has two levels. The first level is kammasakata samadhitti, where you are well established with the kamma. You accept the kamma, you know the typical norms and everything. So you need to become a good person, a moral person. So that is the first level of the samadhitti. Second level of the samadhitti is talking about the supramundane level, where the prominence is given for panya. Prominence is given for what you call the wisdom. So there, the best example is the Kacchanagotta Sutta. In the Kacchanagotta Sutta, Buddha say, okay, you are not taking any extremes. So you have to have a thorough understanding about the arising and passing away. You are not accepting things as available or things are available. You are not saying things are not available. Without taking any of these extremes, now you are going in the proper path. Things are conditioned. Because of this arises. Because of as arising of this arises. The patisaupada. So there, one important thing is, so that type of understanding is not there with the Uddakarama Buddhas. I mean, they are only concentration practitioners, no. So these kinds of insights, where are they? They don't have this kind of profound, Buddhas. This supramundane level of samadhitti, they haven't heard about it even. concentration is different. Concentration is a different practice. So samatha is a separate thing. We can't say it is only Buddhist. It is available. It was available. So Buddha sort of used that, in the sense that Buddha also, skillfully used that, but main prominence was given to Vipassana. So that is his finding. Yeah. Chuttak dennu mic.
Basically, the jhanas of Alara Kalama, Uddakarama, Putta, even though we give the same names, the jhanas of the Buddha seem to be different, because these jhanas, because we say these Arupa jhana, Rupa jhana, and we give the same names now. So, but they seem to be different from the one, because you're going into those with awareness according to the Buddha's teachings.
I think jhanas are the same maybe, but the problem is how the yogi has the capacity. As one yogi, even in Buddha's teaching, one can be attached to that, one can be fully locked in that. Another can be not attached to that, they have the knowing capacity, knowing capability.
So
now,
you're basically at that state with the awareness.
With the awareness, with the knowing part.
So they didn't
have that part, basically.
Part.
So that's what I feel. So basic practitioners, they want to go there just lost in that, just to enjoy that, completely indulge in that, because it's so blissful. So they want to fully get conditioned in that. It's so blissful, no? Now say, why you want to maintain a little bit of awareness? Now say like this. Now yesterday we discussed about that simile of looking at a film. Now if you want to enjoy the film, can you remember that you are on a seat, you are on a cinema hall, the time is this, and I am at cinema hall, this is a cinema, what I am looking at is not something real, but this is film. If you, with that, can you enjoy? You can't. So if you really want to enjoy, you need to fully get lost in that. You have to fully deluded in that. Then you can fully enjoy. You can jump, you can laugh, you can cry, because it's so real to you. So same thing here. The jhana also have that enticing kind of a delightful feelings and characteristics. So you become that. So this becoming process, you become that. You are so one with that. Now you don't have that full awareness, the knowing capability is lost there. Fully engaged with that. So even in the Buddhist practice, someone who is practicing jhana, if one wants to practice jhana, he also can do the same thing, but not correct. So when Buddha is talking the Satipatthana practice, so there he maintained the kind of a reservation. So you need to have the capacity to look at these jhana factors as jhana factors. So you should have the capacity to know where you are, how the state of the mind, all these ups and downs, the state of the mind, status of the mind, you should know. The knowing part is extremely highlighted there. Even in the sunyata levels, there are also again and again Buddha repeat that sampajanakari hoti, sampajanakari hoti. So you are fully aware of that. You have the complete awareness of it. You have that knowing part. So the wisdom activity, the mindfulness and wisdom is so profound. So whatever the other things going on in the mind, so these are very much like secondary processes, but you are established here. You are well grounded here. While being here, you can see these internal ups and downs going on. But they are not very much disturbing. They may simply go away. Again, you are back in the position. Something like that. Yeah.
I had this question, Swamin Hansa. So basically, after going through all these 8 jhanas with Uddakarama, Putta, Alara, Kalama, then finally what worked for the Buddha was when he remembered that his earliest experience.
Correct.
So what do you think is that a person going through the 8th jhana and then have to go remember the experience at the Vapmagula,
yes,
and start from there? So you think so that jhana that he achieved at that time was with awareness, was it then? Because he gave up all this.
I feel now Buddha was practicing Arupa Jhana with Uddakaram Putta Alara Kalama. So then he went through the self-mortification, this Attakalimatana Yoga. So in order to give up that, again now he is looking at his own practice had as a child, as the attaining the first jhana. So there what I feel is to abandon the Attakalimatana Yoga, again he is switching back to the kind of a blissful experience. So he understood, okay, I can enjoy that, no point of view, because it is not sense related, sense faculties related. It's more of a niramisa, unworldly kind of happiness. So I don't need to worry about that happiness. I don't need to switch to complete Kamasikallikana Yoga. It is mundane. I enjoyed that. I have given it up. Now I went through complete self-mortification. That is also, very suffering. It is also not the path. So how about another alternative, which is appear like good, appear like it's not harmful. So he recognized his first jhana is the path in that sense. So I feel to abandon the self-mortification, that has become his kind of an insight. Then he slowly start practicing that. But that is not the real, the path he found. So first jhana is maybe to abandon the self-mortification and come back to the, kind of a spiritual attainment. Then he found starting the other insight practices, say Vipassana practices, say Parissamuppada and all that sort of Anapanasati. Through that he went through everything. No? So therefore we can't say the first jhana he found is completely something new, but in order to abandon Attakalimatana Yoga, that has become his some kind of insight. So no need to be afraid of that. Particularly the word used there is, I don't need to be afraid of this kind of a happiness. It is not coming from the senses. I am not switching to Kamasikallikana Yoga, because he can't switch to that either. Because Kamasikallikana Yoga he found is not good, abandoned. Now the only alternative is Attakalimatana Yoga. That also he found practically it is not the correct path. So where am I going to do? Okay, now an alternative available. So this is a jhanic experience. First jhana, I myself went through it. It's so blissful, but not in any of these extremes. Now these two are abandoned. Now he found this. So they are again now going through Anapanasati and all other things, Vipassana, Parissamuppada and all that deeper, insightful practices, and ultimately get enlightened. Yeah. So I feel now actually Buddha's enlightenment and the typical path later he described in Anapanasati, I feel are two different things. Because he as the Buddha, fully enlightened Buddha, he found, okay, monks, this is the Anapanasati you need to practice, which is more profound, more fruitful. The words Anapanasati bhikkhave bhavita bahuli kata mahappala hoti mahanisansa. So if you are practicing Anapanasati like this, it will be mahappala mahanisansa. It will produce more results. It will be more beneficial. So what is that? That is the 16 steps he is mentioned. And then from 16 steps, as a result of the practicing of 16 steps, you are fulfilling the 4 satipatthanas. Then as a result of that, you are fulfilling the 7 enlightenment factors, Sapta Bojjhanga. When we are fulfilling Sapta Bojjhangas, you are fulfilling Vijja Vimutti. So that's the kind of a recipe. As the fully enlightened Buddha, he recommends to the others. So it is not that as a Bodhisattva he found it. Now this is the Buddha's teaching, fully enlightened Buddha. He is telling, okay, this is the essence. You practice this. Yeah. Okay, then we'll wind up the session. We have spent some time in discussing very interesting Dhamma. So we'll have the Dhamma sermon at 4 p.m. Thank you very much.